After a couple of days hanging around Adelaide, Kaz and I have come down, we're heading down towards Victor Harbour, so we're going south for no reason at all, other than we've never been in the area. And we decided to cut across rather than go right down to the bottom of the point, and we're halfway across the peninsula kind of thing, and we've seen a sign going to Hindmarsh Falls, so we've got no idea what's here. We'll take it with us and show you what we can. Because by now you've realised Kaz and I are a bit into waterfalls, so if there's one, we'll have a look at it.
So I thought we'd come along in the bush and have a look. A little walk track here. It's nothing too bad. Just down here. I can hear them. So don't think they're too far away. It's such a beautiful day too. Oh, we've been blessed, that's for sure. So have a look down here and see what we can find. Oh look, it's only 90 metres away. That can't be far at all. Excellent. It's well paved too, so nothing too hard.
Don't know how well you're getting this on camera, guys. They're not right down at the full lookout area yet, but we've got a viewing point here. There's still a little bit of water running down there. I'm hoping that when we get to the proper viewing point, you'll be able to see a bit more of it. All right, we'll keep going down there and have a look. Hindmarsh Falls Recreation Reserve Falls Viewing Track. Caution, track ends here. That's if the fences didn't give it away, guys. Yeah, a little bit of a shame that that tree has grown up there on the right, but it's still quite pretty. Not bad at all. Speaking of not bad at all, there's Kaz. She's not bad at all either.
We got a beautiful day for this, didn't we?
We did. It's actually 32 degrees outside, guys. So it's not 32 degrees here under the canopy of the trees. It is when you get up near the car park. Not bad at all. I'm just going to try and poke through a bit of different spot here so they'll give you a bit of better look, but I don't think I can. Down through that gorge there, after a decent amount of rain, it must look pretty impressive. Considering half of Victoria's in flood, I was almost expecting more water than this. Anyway, now got to walk back up. You know me and walking up, so I won't talk to you coming back up. I'll talk to you at the top. So, after our little 150 metre walk, this is the car park you're faced with. And that was Hindmarsh Falls. Yeah, it's always worth stopping and have a look at these places, guys. You never know what you're going to find. Anyway, no doubt we will see you as the day progresses. I'm down here on the outskirts of Victor Harbour, and as we came down the hill here, there's this lookout that looks out over the general area there. Big bridge across to an island, I'm not sure what that's about. I'm sure there's probably people out there who know, but I'm certainly not one of them. So we'll probably drive down into Victor Harbour and See what there is down there to look at. The lookout itself area here is all full of this mosaic, all done in Aboriginal style. Obviously a lot of significance to the local Aboriginal community. Welcome to Gondoli, or Gondoli, the whale. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. There is a binocular thing here that is free to look through, but I honestly can't imagine the camera is going to do any good trying to look through it. No, not really. I thought I'd try. Alright, we'll continue on our excursion.
So we found ourselves at Gilbert's Museum, South Australia. We found some grand old girls here. 1911, 1913 Rover.
Check this thing out. 1907 Rover, 6 horsepower, 1 cylinder. The guy from the museum just said to me, your lawnmower's got more power than this. So, anyway, we're in Gilbert's, which used to be a car dealer. And this car here, 1928 Buick Sport Roadster, was purchased here from this yard. And the lady had an accident and couldn't drive, put it on blocks for 40 years. It's done 17,000 original miles in its life. It was bought back, repainted, retrimmed, and that's it. And the guy's telling me that while it was on blocks at the farm, the guys from Gilbert's Motors went out once every 12 months and started it and ran it through the gears. So, pretty impressive. And the oldest car here, 1906 Cadillac. Once again, it's 1 cylinder.
Not a battery.
And then
this is the gas producer. This is the carbide water.
See how fast cars evolved. 1906, that was normal. 1909, look at that. That's impressive. And by the time you get to 1939 or thereabouts, that's like a proper car. It's incredible. A lot of really good old historical cars here.
Check this one out.
And things that don't use batteries to start them. Or,
That's how it started life.
wow. Now here's the picture. Have a look at this. There's how she's been restored, right? A lot of love, a lot of time, a lot of effort to do that. Here's another shot. That's incredible, isn't it?
6 years it took him.
6 years.
You've got to say that anybody who does that sort of thing has got to be an optimist.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looking at that and imagining this.
That's incredible,
here's a
isn't
story
it?
for you. Here is a picture of the building back in the 1930s.
Ah, nice.
And there was, for many years, there was a story about there being a tunnel under the road between the pub and the bank. And the idea was that they thought when Cobb & Co came in and brought the money and the bullion in, they would bring it in underground. Well, we had a guy out doing a survey to see where the pipes and everything were, because they're going to dig up the road and put down paving bricks. And we said to him, we told him the story of the tunnel, and he said, wait a minute, I've got a ground penetrating radar in the back of the van. He did a couple of runs up and down the road, and he said, yes, there's a tunnel.
Wow.
It's filled in the middle of the road, and it goes from the very basement of the pub. There's a bricked up doorway in the basement of the pub, I'm told, and it doesn't go to the bank. It goes to our car park. And when you look up here, at what is now the car park, you see a billiards saloon.
Oh, yeah.
And we think, because of early closing from 1916 in South Australia, the idea would have been at 6 o'clock the boys would have gone from the pub across to play billiards and the beer would have come in underground.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, I thought I'd share with you at this point that there's a fair bit of this museum stuff we're going to look at on this episode. This museum's a bit different to any other motor museum we've ever been to, and that is the fact that the volunteers take you around and tell you the stories and all about the cars that you're looking at. So that's a major point of difference. If you're in the town of Strathalbyn, that's a hard word to say, in South Australia, go down to Gilbert's Motor Museum and have a look for yourself, because there's no way I can fit it all on the video. So I hope you're enjoying these few stills. But stills are a perfect time for me to do a voiceover, guys. Back to the video. There was no monkeying around in the mechanical shops in those days.
Now this one here is a 1920s racer that was built in 1989. This was built from a 1922 Citroen chassis and a 2.5 litre 1925 supercharged Hotchkiss motor.
Wow.
And it was used for historic racing in the UK. And it's been quite successful and won a couple of events in Bilcombe. And there it is, it's like a poor man's Bugatti. It's called a Chevron Losange, and there's only one of them. That's it.
Wow. That's impressive. All right. By the way, everybody, this is Steve. He's a volunteer here.
One of the many volunteers that come to Gilbert's Motor Museum. The whole place is run on volunteers, and we've been operating nearly 3 years now. 100 years ago, if you did the record between Adelaide and Melbourne, you got a medal. Nowadays, of course, you get your car taken away and crushed. This was Norman Wizard Smith's Essex that he was able to do up to 100 miles an hour in with only rear brakes.
Jesus.
But it's set up for intercity runs, and he held the record for the Adelaide to Melbourne, Hobart, Launceston, Hobart, and Melbourne Sydney record, and he even took it across the Dutch to New Zealand and did Auckland Wellington record in 1924.
That's incredible.
So it's an Essex, and it's set up specifically for intercity racing. There's even a picture of him here. Back in those days, back in the 20s, you had to drive along what they called the pipe clay down the Coorong. The clay that was there was nice and smooth, and you could zoom along there between getting down to Road and Kingston.
That's incredible. Getting into a few more cars that are a little bit more recognisable. So this is a race car.
Austin 7 racing car. This is a special built by a fellow by the name of Jeff Redden, who builds these out of Austin 7 bits so that you can go historic racing here in Australia.
That's
beautifully done.
It is beautiful. How shiny this thing.
Now in Goldfinger, the novel, he mentions this car, which is the Aston Martin DB24 Mark III. He wrongly calls it the DB3 in the novel, but this is the model of car it's referring to. When they made the movie, of course, they brought out the DB5, and that was the car that was used in Goldfinger the movie. But this particular one is an aluminium bodied car, lightweight, and it's got a special high performance motor, and there was only 10 cars built with this specification.
Wow.
It's insured for lots.
Is there many of these left, or is this just about it? Is there many of these left, or is...
Oh, I don't imagine there's too many of these going around. There's probably more than you think, but...
it's pretty.
Yeah, beautiful looking car. Beautiful. Back in the 1970s, a proper Ferrari had 12 cylinders, and the Ferrari snob said anything with less than that isn't really a proper Ferrari. This they refer to as the Dino, rather being a bit snobbish about it, because it's only got 8 cylinders.
Oh, only 8.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
still quite reasonable.
That'd hammer. 1976. Here's something we've all seen before, the old Charger.
Well, this is a one-off in this colour and specification. There was only one that was built like this. They only built about 20 of the big tank versions to go racing with, especially at Bathurst, and it's got different brakes, different gearbox, different carburetors to the standard, and this was the racing model. Oh. This car's featured in recently in Survivor Car magazine.
Nice. We're just saying with Steve in HQ, and you go, wow, you know, a lot of people my age, HQ's the cars you drove as a P-play. 1972. It's 51, guys. It's not 2023 now. It's incredible. So all the cars we used to drive around in are now museum pieces. I have to have another look at this ute. I just can't help myself. That FX ute is just spectacular. Just awesome.
Okay, we're in the barn now. We've got a little Austin 7 there, which is a bit of a cheat because I think it's got a motorcycle engine in it. And it was designed to pull along this replica little teardrop van. And the car back in the corner, the Ford Model A's got a local history, was purchased here in Strathalbyn in 1928 from the Ford dealer across the river. The man drove it home to his farm a few kilometres away, and he didn't like it much, so he left it in the shed and kept driving his Model T. And eventually his son took it over and drove it for about 30 years as the family car.
Good heavens.
And it's been passed down from father to son. It's now owned by the 4th generation, so it's had 4 owners in that time. There are 2 sons in the 5th generation, both vying for for ownership. One's going to miss out, and I think I know which one it is, and he's a bit dark on it.
Oh dear.
Wow.
And Steve was saying all these cars were driven in here and they're waiting to be restored. It's incredible. We're very lucky that Steve's taking us around here today. I was expecting to just walk around on my own. But,
no, that's our point of difference here. We like to try and take people around if we can, if there's enough volunteers here on the day. We're going to go across to the workshop now, and I'll show you the littlies, the little cars.
okay.
Okay, if we start up this end.
These are like cars, only smaller, Steve.
We have the Goggomobile Dart, powered by the massively powerful 400cc 2-cylinder 2-stroke motor. A couple of hundred of them were produced using the base of the little Austrian sedan that came out to Australia by Bill Buckle Motors. Produced the fiberglass bodies for these to make the sports version.
Wow.
I don't know how sporting they actually were, but yeah, bit of a...
It's hard to imagine a sports version of a Goggomobile. That's incredible.
And here next to it we have the Southern Cross Special, which was a specially designed hill climb car made out of Triumph bits and bobs, and it's been able to compete at our up in the Barossa at the Collinggrove hill climb.
Nice.
Next to it, this little electric car run on a couple of washing machine motors and lead acid batteries with driving a single rear wheel by chain, was actually sold to Ray Warren as the Flinders University electric car from the 1970s, but it's not. And because we had the guy who designed and built it here, dear old Viv, turned up one day and said nothing to do with me. We suspect The HE on the bonnet stands for home engineering.
That would make sense.
So out of somebody's shed. Now,
Pre-run
you
it on a
are
Tesla.
from interstate, so you probably don't know this part of history.
Probably not.
This is South Australian history, is the Zeta, a fiberglass body on a metal base, and it was powered by a massively powerful 324cc Villiers two-stroke, two-cylinder motor. It didn't have a reverse gear. You had to stop it, stop the engine, press the key in, turn the key the other way, start the engine in reverse, and then you could use your 4 gears in reverse. Okay. It was built by Lightburn Industries. Dear old Harold Lightburn had a business down in the suburbs of Adelaide at Camden Park, and he was better known for producing things like cement mixers and twin tub washing machines, but he had a go at building these, and it arrived on the market at around about the same time, and unfortunately about the same price as a Mini. And the Mini killed it dead, so there was only about 260 of them sold. But in 1964, Harold, in one last-ditched effort, tried to get people interested in his car, so he entered 3 of them in the 1964 Ampol trial that went up and down the east coast of Australia. And all 3 cars finished the event, but only one actually finished on time because they were pretty slow, and it came long distance last. There were 4 cars prepared. This is the 4th car that was prepared for the event, and this was their photograph car. That here's us driving through a puddle, here's us driving down a dirt road, and so on and so forth. And it's spent 30 years rotting away in a paddock, and we've had a bit of a go at restoring bits and pieces of it. I'm hoping that we get some stickers for it, some Ampol trial stickers for it in the near future, make it look a bit more like the rally car that it was. It had an extra tank in the back, extra fuel pump, and it would have been mighty slow.
I can imagine.
And over here is George, our 1950s Morris 2500 weight truck. Was owned from new by a fellow down, an old bachelor farmer down at Bordertown, and he treated it like one of his own children. Or he didn't have any children, but he treated it like a baby. Never went out in the rain or anything, and so this is completely unrestored.
Wow!
It was in this beautiful condition all along. When he left the farm in the 90s, it was purchased by a lady by the name of Jennifer DeKevitt, and when she got too old to drive it, she donated it to us, so we're really pleased with that.
Wow. And
this year, dear old George, named after George Cleggett, George actually took Father Christmas along in the local Christmas pageant.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Mr. Ford and Mr. Gray were working together but didn't get on very well. Not surprising, Mr. Ford, Henry was a bit of a mongrel. This is a Gray. Mr. Gray went off in the 1920s and decided to make his own fame and fortune by producing his Model T look-alike and called it the Gray. And this was actually, he only lasted 4 years before he went broke, and that was the end of it. But this was actually dug up out of a sandhill in the Flinders Ranges.
Oh, right.
A fellow had spotted it many, many years before and thought it might be interesting, and it turned up here one day on the back of a trailer in the various bits. So we built another sandhill to actually rebury it, and got the art class in to do a bit of a scene at the back for us.
Nice.
The grey.
The grey. The story on it, there you go.
We got given a really daggy old Volkswagen that was shot with the world, and only had one good side, so we took a thin slither of it, repainted it, and hung it up on the wall to make it look like a Volkswagen.
Why not?
Oh, why not?
Why not? Some people might say that's the only thing Volkswagens are good for.
Here's the bike room where the Trebling bicycles would have been produced. And there's a Trebling bicycle there, and another couple of Trebling bicycles. They were considered to be quite good quality in the day.
It's pretty
and
impressive.
over here, this French, they are so imaginative. This was a little two-stroke motor that popped along and had a propeller at the back. It attached it to the back of your push bike to push you along.
Oh,
dear.
nice.
It provided you weren't wearing a scarf and didn't Isadora Duncan.
Yes, that could have been a problem.
In the 1880s, this was an idea that a fellow had in Scotland, and so you had two-wheel steering, a modicum of braking, and all the suspension that the fat in your bottom could provide.
Now, is that the Ray Warren, the owner we're talking about?
Yeah, Ray Warren. No, our Ray Warren, who's out in the front office.
Oh, we have our own Ray Warren.
Yeah, that's right.
Not the one everybody knows.
Come in and have a quick cool off in the library, the Glendix Library.
Oh. No worries. Well, thanks very much, Steve, for showing us around. It's been very informative, and we've taken up enough of your time. We'll go for a walk around and have another look, and
Do another lap.
we will certainly do that. Thanks again very much, and we will talk to you soon.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
The next day.
Morning. After a lovely night at Frank Potts Reserve, it's a free camp on the side of the road. There's a couple of sites, a dunny, that's about it. A good night's sleep. We're off to Milang today. I think that's how you say it, Milang. To another exhibition of the cars of the old day, some machinery, and also a tractor pull. So that should be an exciting day. So a nice flat ground we were on last night. It was pretty cool. Little area to ourselves, which is awesome. But it is a roadside camp. It's $5 in the box over there. So it does get pretty busy. And here's Steve. He's doing his campgrounds. Well, he should be there. Oh, he's stuck behind the tree. There he is. So there we have it.
Made it down to Milang, down here in South Australia, and we've come to what they're calling yesterday's power rally. It just happens to be on while we're in the region, so we thought we'd go in and have a look. There's all sorts of classic cars, machinery from yesteryear. There's a bit of a tractor pull going on too, so we'll go in, we'll have a look, and we'll see what we can see in there. Forts and Major. These are old school, very old tractors, these things, so we're going to try and pull this thing as the weight gets moved up the trailer. We're not going to walk too far behind it because I don't want to interfere with everybody's view. This is not the kind of tractor pull most people are expecting. They're monster horsepower tractors, soot going everywhere. This is yesteryear stuff, so a little bit different to the kind of things we would normally look at. But it's pretty well out of sight for the GoPro, so we'll wait for the next one.
Bearing posture tracking with the guy.
As you can see, the weight going up the trailer to put more down pressure on the drag in the front.
Had the right conditions, suited them very well, and I believe they were very affordable for what they were.
Following on from yesterday's visit to the Gilbert Museum, because this is power from yesteryear, they've got some older trucks and cars on display. So, having a quick look at them. Ford Anglias, they've got some beautiful old cars here. More coming in. So, yeah, if you're into historic cars and stuff, this might be the part of the world to be into. There's some nice bits of gear here.
Pardon? Yeah, not too bad. Lots gone into it just recently.
Did you do it up?
A lot of it started actually aboard as a car.
The H complete with surfboards. Foxtails, as you got here. FJ. EH. An old motorbike. I'm guessing that's the oldest one, and we work our way through the newer ones. Adelaide's are coming up on camera, okay, guys? All sorts of cool things in there. Hope they came up for you. An old Norton here. With old steam engines here. All sorts of very cool old gear. You hear some in the background running. I'll get over those in a minute. Not on all steam, of course. That's a 1.5 horsepower petrol. All these things that are given pumps and all sorts of other stuff. We go on the other side where they're all clustered on. Hey, generate repair on the day, right? Got pumping water. They're not working hard, right? You better go stop, because I do. All sorts of really cool old machinery at Milang, South Australia. Another old style tractor. Check out this old ladder truck fire engine. Left hand drive. Obviously a ladder to get up tall buildings. American France jocks, fueled on petrol, 1942 model. Used by the South Australian Fire Brigade in Adelaide. There you go. 42 model. Just a few more older diesels and pumps and petrols and oil engines. Crazy. Random all sorts of things, isn't it? In 20 maximum double forward, or maximum forward double action piston water pump. Mad time, isn't it? So while in Milang, now we've been to that yesterday's power rally, we've come to the historic railway station where there's some old carriages and things to look at. And normally, well, you can pay and go for a wander around inside. I'm not going to do that today, just because I try not to spend as more money than I need to. So I hope you understand that, guys. We've got the old station here itself. Very old post box. I remember when those were in use. It's just a few old artifacts from history around this area. So you can go in. Entry's free. Saturday and Sunday 12 till 4. It's not open yet. I'm here early, so it doesn't matter. There's an old engine. We'll walk up on the platform in a second. Give a look at that. South Australian Railways Locomotive 351. Sounds like a V8. Two locomotives of the 350 class were first diesel electric locos to work on the South Australian Railways. Built at the Islington workshops using English electric engines and electricals. They carried road numbers 350 and 351 and were placed in service on 7th of 6, 1949 until 21/6 and 21/6, 1949 respectively. Built to perform shunting duties at Adelaide and Mile End. Top speed of 28 km an hour. Be painfully slow to use these for long haul stuff. In 1965, 351 was used as the Mount Gambier shunter. So, yeah. I'm just trying to work out when it came out of use. Dry Creek Depot, 22nd October 1981. So they ran for a while. All right, I'm sure you can read more about that on Google and stuff. But, yeah, obviously rail down here was very important in the day. So, yeah, I'm just wandering around these old towns, guys. I know this is not what you'd call four-wheel drive touring, but we're doing the touring part. Got a little bit more four-wheel drive stuff coming up later on. See, on the platforms. Some of these carriages are being used for tea rooms and things like that, which is kind of cool. Craft shops. That one's got the toilets in it. So, pretty cool. If you're into your railway stuff and you happen to be down at Milang in South Oz, come down here and have a look. I reckon it'd be worthwhile. I'm not a great railway buff, guys, to be honest, but I just thought I'd have a quick look at these while I'm in town. Show you whatever I can. Alright, now, next part of today we're going to head in the motoring theme again to the South Australian Motor Museum, which I think is the big one for South Oz. It's got all sorts of things in there, so we're going to go and have a look at that before we start heading east again. So I won't bore you with the driving legs. We'll just see you when we get to where we're going. Well, at this point, guys, I thought the video's starting to get a little bit long. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different with so much motoring stuff in it, but Karen and I, when we're travelling around, we're into this kind of stuff. We thought you mightn't mind it either. If you didn't, I'm really sorry. The next episode in this travel series will involve another motor museum, the biggest one in South Australia, possibly the biggest one in Australia. Anyway, I hope you enjoy that one when the time comes. I really do hope you enjoyed this one, guys. As I said, a little bit different, but we quite liked it. If you did like it, throw a like on it, really helps the channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, click the notification bell and you'll know when a new clip comes out. And to the old hands, as always, thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my clips. I really do appreciate the support, guys. You've got no idea how good it makes me feel knowing that you guys are enjoying the content. Anyway, that will do me for this one. Take care, be good to each other. Just get out there and enjoy the bush, the little villages, the towns, the seaside, all of that stuff. And it's all part of the stuff that makes this country great, isn't it? All these kind of things. Take care, guys. All the best. Cheers from Steve and Kaz at Mudduck's 4-wheel drive touring. We'll see you on the next one. All the best, guys. Bye.